Today's lesson is Optical Illusions, the science behind the magic. Hi, everybody, I'm Roger.
Hello, I'm Kiki.
And today we're going to talk about something called optical illusions. It's when you look at something and it appears a certain way, but you're actually being fooled. It's actually a different kind of picture than how you imagine it.
I've noticed that around the streets of Taipei, there are a lot of artists that have been doing optical illusions on the sidewalk.
Interesting. Yes, that's very popular indeed. It looks like the sidewalk is open, and if you walk onto the sidewalk, you'll fall into a big hole. But of course, that is an optical illusion. And today we're going to be talking specifically about the science behind the magic. We're going to talk about exactly how optical illusions work. So let's get to it, everybody. Let's listen to the first part of our lesson right now, and we'll be right back.
Optical illusions, the science behind the magic. Every now and then, a new viral image will grab the world's attention. Remember that blue and black dress? Or was it white and gold? What about the spinning disc that seemed to turn Van Gogh's Starry Night into a swirling masterpiece? These are both examples of optical illusions. But what exactly are optical illusions? How do they work?
大家好，第一部分我们看到形容词 viral， 它的意思是在网络上像病毒般快速传播的，或是病毒引起的。例如 The embarrassing viral video of the drunk celebrity spread through social media. 那位名人的酒醉出糗影片在社交媒体上被疯传。又或者说 After careful inspection, the doctor realized that Greg had a viral infection. 经过仔细检查后，医生发现 Greg 有病毒感染。
Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about the title. We've got optical illusions. Okay, optical has to do with your sight. For example, if you want to get eyeglasses, you need to go to an optician. That's from the word optical, which has to do with sight or seeing. And an illusion, again, is something that looks like it's there, but it really isn't. Like some people feel that life is an illusion. If you're a Taoist or a Buddhist, maybe you may think that, hey, life is just an illusion. It's not really here.
So sometimes people can think that an illusion kind of messes around with their sensory experience because you feel like you're seeing something, but actually it might be something else. So today we're going to learn about the science behind this magic because I remember as a child when we see optical illusions, you don't know how this could be happening. You really do think it's magic.
Yeah, I think I remember the Science Museum in Taichung has a room that looks like if you're standing on the left side, you look really small, but if you're standing on the right side, you look really big. So that is kind of an optical illusion. I think they have several displays in that museum in Taichung. I think I should go down there again. It's pretty cool. But in any case, we're talking about the science behind the magic of optical illusions. Every now and then, a new viral image will grab the world's attention. So every now and then, it just means sometimes this happens from time to time. There will be a viral image on the internet, and everybody will be looking at it, and they'll be asked, hey, what do you see in this picture? Do you see this or do you see that?
So the word viral, usually when we think about viral, it's kind of has to do with a virus or some disease spreading very quickly. But in this case, in recent years, the word viral has been used to describe when something has become very popular on the internet and it is shared very quickly and spread very quickly to people all over the world.
Okay, so we've got some examples here. Remember that blue and black dress, or was it white and gold? And what about the spinning disc that seemed to turn Van Gogh's Starry Night into a swirling masterpiece? Now, I do remember that dress. You were asked to look at this picture of a dress, and you were asked whether it was blue and black or white and gold. I think I just did not see the blue and black in that dress. I could only see it white and gold. I had no idea how somebody could see blue in that dress. Do you know what they're referring to here, Kiki?
Yes, I remember that photo of that dress, and I think I actually only saw blue and black.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess they said that people of a certain type of personality would see blue and black, and another kind of personality would see white and gold. And there's another optical illusion that involves a spinning disc. I think you look at this disc spinning for like 10 or 20 seconds, and then you suddenly look at a picture of Van Gogh's Starry Night, and then it looks like it's swirling. It's an optical illusion. If something's swirling, it's kind of spinning in circles.
And the word masterpiece here, of course, is referring to Van Gogh's Starry Night. So Starry Night is a very famous art piece done by Vincent van Gogh. And when something is a masterpiece, it is basically a work that is so outstanding, it shows the level of artistry and skill or workmanship of a certain person. So a masterpiece doesn't have to come from an artist. A masterpiece could also be referring to, for example, a piece of furniture. If somebody is a very good carpenter, they could have a masterpiece. Or somebody that's composed a great piece of symphony, that could also be a masterpiece.
Yep, like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is his masterpiece, although some people think his Ninth Symphony is his masterpiece. He's probably got lots of masterpieces there. And yes, of course, that can refer to a great work of art, whether it's a painting or a symphony or a book. Those could all be considered masterpieces. And these are both examples of optical illusions. But what exactly are optical illusions and how do they work? That's the question we're asking, and it's also the question we're trying to answer in today's program. So let's continue and listen now to the second part.
Put simply, optical illusions occur when the images we perceive differ from objective reality. Such mismatches can happen for various reasons. For example, some individuals perceive the blue and black dress as white and gold due to a visual processing error caused by the lighting in the viral image. In other cases, illusions result from assumptions that our brains make about the world. As an example, in the Ponzo illusion, two lines of equal length appear to have different lengths because of how our brains interpret a pair of converging lines underlying the two equal lines.
第二部分来看到动词 perceive， 指的是注意到、察觉，也可以是视为、认为或是看作的意思。例如 Vincent perceived that his colleague seemed unwell today. Vincent 注意到他的同事今天似乎不太舒服。或者 The police perceived the man to be suspicious and detained him. 警察认为那名男子很可疑，并把他拘留起来。下一个我们来看 visual， 这个形容词的意思是视觉的或是视力的。举例来说 After studying visual arts, Lori went on to become a fashion designer. Lori 念完视觉艺术后，继而成为一名时装设计师。又或者说 My friend was really impressed by the movie's visual effects. 我朋友对这部电影的视觉效果印象深刻。接下来介绍名词 assumption， 它有假设、假定或是臆断的意思。例如 Dan's decision to stay at his job was based on the assumption that he would be promoted. Dan 留在这份工作的决定是基于他会晋升的前提之下。或是 I had the assumption that Jerry was coming to the party, so I was disappointed when he didn't show up. 我断定 Jerry 会来派对，因此当他没来时，我很失望。接着来看到动词 interpret， 它是解读、理解或是阐释的意思，也可以是口译的意思。可以说 Some people interpret silence in response to their questions as agreement. 有些人把回应问题时的沉默解读为同意的意思。或者 The doctor interpreted the results of my health tests for me. 医生向我说明我的健康检查结果。再来是 converge， 它是动词，意思是路线等交汇或是汇合，也可以是汇集的意思。在课文中 converging 为现在分词做形容词用，表示交汇的。例如 The map shows that there is a converging zone at the ends of these two roads. 地图显示在这两条路的末端有一个交汇处。再看一个例子 Rescue workers converged on the crash site. 救援人员聚集在撞击事故现场。
All right, let's find out how optical illusions work. Put simply, optical illusions occur when the images we perceive differ from objective reality. So, in simple terms, to put it simply, optical illusions happen when the images that we perceive or the images that we are becoming aware of or that we get to realize. So when you perceive something is to have an understanding of something. So the way we are looking at this optical illusion, it's different from objective reality. It is different from what is actually in front of us.
Okay, so to perceive again means to detect something with your eyes or with your ears or whatever senses, and then you interpret the thing that way. I perceived his message as being negative, so I decided not to invite him to the party, for example. That's how I perceived his message. It seemed like he wasn't very happy. And so here we've got a different perception of what you're looking at.
Such mismatches can happen for various reasons. So the way we perceive something being different from the reality, they can happen for various reasons. There are different reasons why we see these mismatches. So, for example, some individuals perceived the blue and black dress as white and gold due to a visual processing error caused by the lighting in the viral image. So, the way the photo was taken, its lighting might cause someone to have a visual processing error. So what is a visual processing error? When we talk about the word visual, it is anything that is related to seeing or sight. So visual processing, it's the way our eyes, after you've seen something, how do you process it? So what is our brain telling us when we see something? So apparently, if you see white and gold in the blue and black dress photo, it is a visual processing error. So it is something that is confusing you due to the lighting in the viral image.
So, of course, if you've studied film or photography, you need to know a thing or two about lighting, how to place the lights around a scene so you can get a good photograph. And, of course, we're talking about the lighting of that dress. And, again, I guess I have a problem with my brain because I had this visual processing error and I saw the dress as white and gold. Now, in other cases, illusions result from assumptions that our brains make about the world. So in other cases, in other types of optical illusions, they can result from assumptions that our brains make. So here, to result from something means something is caused, and then you get the result as a result of that cause. You get the result because of that cause. And we've got assumptions here. That means you've concluded something before you actually know the facts about it.
So some illusions, when we see it, you're making assumptions about it. So you don't know much about it, but our brain has already decided what we are seeing. So from these assumptions, our brain make about the world. So because we know certain things about the world, we believe certain things to be the way it is. Sometimes when we see these illusions, your brain has already decided what it is going to see in this illusion. As an example, in the Ponzo illusion, two lines of equal length appear to have different lengths because of how our brains interpret a pair of converging lines underlying the two equal lines.
Right, so you probably need to go online to see exactly what the Ponzo illusion is. We've got two lines of equal length, and they appear to have different lengths because of how our brains interpret these converging lines. They usually have these two lines over like some railroad tracks or something that are fading into the distance. That lines get smaller with distance, but again, a two-dimensional image is fooling your mind to think it's a three-dimensional image. Of course, if you have lines of perspective and things like that. So our brains will interpret these converging lines in different ways. So to interpret something means to understand something in a certain way. For example, somebody may send you a message, a text message, and it may be phrased a little strangely, so you might interpret that message to mean that the person is mad at you, and then you talk to them later and find out, oh, no, I did not mean that at all. That was just how you interpreted my message.
So the lines in this ponzo illusion, they converge. The word converging means to meet at a point. So usually it could be an image of the train tracks going into a tunnel. So these two lines will come together at one point. So it turns out that the lines are actually the same length, but we will think that they are different.
Exactly. So that's how that one works. It's based on assumptions that we make about the world around us. That's another type of illusion. Okay, we're at the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third part.
Whatever their cause is, optical illusions can be used to make fascinating artwork. In fact, there are even tourist attractions, like the Museum of Illusions, which has locations around the world where you can pay for the pleasure of being deceived by these mind-bending visuals.
最后第三部分我们看到单字 deceive， 它是动词，指的是欺骗或是蒙骗。例如 Alan trusts people too quickly, so it is easy to deceive him. Alan 很容易就相信别人，所以要欺骗他很容易。或是 True friends will never try to deceive you. 真正的朋友从来都不会尝试要欺骗你。
Let's wrap things up. Whatever their cause is, optical illusions can be used to make fascinating artwork. So it doesn't matter how these optical illusions are made or the science behind it. No matter what, these optical illusions are still very interesting, and they are pieces of art that people can enjoy and have fun with.
Okay, so there are ways to make fascinating artwork. I'm thinking of the artist M.C. Escher. You may have seen the exposition at the National Palace Museum about 10 years ago. It was quite some time ago, but again, he is a master of optical illusions where, a fish turn into a bird or something gradually as you look up the painting. That is a kind of optical illusion. So yes, indeed, you can make fascinating artwork. Or the paintings on the sidewalk that you were mentioning, Kiki, that is a kind of artwork as well. And in fact, there are even tourist attractions like the Museum of Illusions, which has locations around the world. So maybe there's a Museum of Illusions here in Taiwan, but of course, as I've said, lots of museums in Taiwan already have some illusions on display.
So, for example, there are things like mirrors that are shaped differently that make you look different. So, for example, they might have these curved mirrors that make you look really, really long, and maybe some other mirrors that make you look very short and tiny. So these are all other examples of optical illusions that you can experience at science centers or museums. So there are different locations around the world where you can pay for the pleasure of being deceived by these mind-bending visuals. So if you really enjoy optical illusions, you can pay to go to museums or science centers where you can be deceived. So what is deceived? Deceived is to be tricked by something or to be lied to. But in this case, it is to have fun, to be tricked, okay? 'Cause usually when you deceive somebody, it's not very good. You're tricking someone to get something that you want. But in this case, you've been deceived by these optical illusions, but it's fun. It's a fun process because you're getting to see things that just blows your mind. You're like, oh, how is this made?
It's interesting, and of course we're talking about mind-bending visuals. A visual, of course, is something you see, and if something's mind-bending, it really plays with your mind, and of course this happens when you listen to certain kinds of music. It can be mind-bending. You can imagine all sorts of things, but in this case we're talking about visual illusions, and indeed they can be very mind-bending. It can be a lot of fun. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation. Here comes Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分有一句写到 In other cases, illusions result from assumptions that our brains make about the world. 在其他情况下，错觉来自于我们的大脑对世界的假设。那句子里面用到 result from， 它是表达起因于什么，或是由什么产生，后面要接事情发生的原因。像 headaches can result from stress， 头痛可能起因于压力。好，那补充一下，如果是 result in 则是表达导致造成，那这时候后面是要接引起导致的结果。举例来说， long-term stress may result in mental health problems. 长期的压力可能会导致心理健康问题。好，另外文中用到 assumption 这个名词啊，它有假设、假定、臆断的意思。它的动词是 assume。我们来学它的字首字根。好，看到 sume 或是 sumpt 这一类的字根，它有拿、消耗或是花费的意思。那在 assume 这个字当中，它的字首 as 是来自 ad， 表示朝向。那么字根 sume 表示拿，从字面意思来看是指朝向拿取，那应该可以联想到它有承担的语义。那么 assume 可以指承担、担任某个职务责任的意思。那后来从16世纪末 assume 开始有了假定、假设、臆断的意思哦。好，那也顺便补充两个有这一类字根的单字。第一个是 consume， 它的字首 con 是做强调用，那么 sume 表示花费、取用，合在一起 consume 它就有消耗、花费或是吃喝饮用的意思了。好，那么第二个补充的是 resume， 它的字首 re 表示再次，字根 sume 是取用，合在一起 resume 它就可以表达继续进行、重新开始。课文第三部分第一句它写到说Whatever their cause is, optical illusions can be used to make fascinating artwork. 无论原因是什么，视错觉可以用来制作迷人的艺术品。好，文中它用到这个 whatever 来表达无论怎么样、不管怎么样。这时候啊，它相当于 no matter what， 用来引导副词子句。那这个句子呢，就可以摆在主要子句之前或是之后。像文中这个 whatever their cause is， 就相当于 no matter what their cause is。好，再来 whatever 它还可以指说任何点点点的事物，这时候则是相当于 anything that， 用来引导名词子句。举例来说 You can buy whatever you want， 你可以买任何你想要的东西。这时候例句里面的 whatever you want 就相当于 anything that you want， 那它是名词子句，把它摆在 buy 的后面当它的受词。好，那以上今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Illusion. The magician created an amazing illusion, making the Statue of Liberty disappear before our eyes. Masterpiece. Gail decided to read the novel because her friend called it a masterpiece. Perceive. Julius couldn't perceive the smaller details of the painting until he put on his glasses. Visual. The horror movie's excellent visual effects made it especially scary. Assumption. Harold's assumption that Lana would be late proved incorrect when she arrived right on time. Interpret. Brittany interpreted Jennifer's silence as an expression of anger. Deceive. The politician deceived some voters with his appealing false promises.
Discussion starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. The question is, have you ever seen any optical illusions? If so, please share your thoughts and feelings about them.
Yes, I've seen some optical illusions before, and they are a lot of fun, especially the ones that are at the Science Center. I remember when I was younger in Singapore, we had an optical illusion where you put your head through a box and your body disappears and you look like your head is being served on a silver platter.
Oh my goodness, that would be very spooky, very scary there. Well, for me, I did say I saw some optical illusions before, but let me just answer in the negative here just for fun. No, I haven't had the chance to see any optical illusions in person. I just don't get around very much. I just spend time at home reading all the time and watching TV, and I don't have much of a chance to see optical illusions. However, if I had the chance to see some at a museum or something, I would gladly pay the price of admission.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Kiki.
I am Roger.
See you next time.